short.
That's all right.
Did you get her?
Hi, I'm Mike Bloom and one of Mark's childhood friends. I have had the honor of being his friend since elementary school. Just about the only one that's left in the New York region, but I do represent many others who all have written to say that they're sorry they couldn't be here, but were willing to let me speak for them. I speak for Jay and Barry Klusky, for Joey Hershkovich, for Steve and Andy Cohen, for Gil Witt, and many others. We had an idyllic childhood. We all met in the first grade and stayed together as a group throughout high school. We played ball every week and whenever possible after school. Mark was first baseman, and he came to be known as Chops because you could bounce off of him and he'd laugh and think nothing of it. These were perfect days for 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and 12-year-olds. Then came high school and the teen years, where Mark, Gil, Steve, and I all went to Bronx Science. These were the years that we went to protest together. Mark somehow got the superintendent of his apartment building to let us have a room in the basement to be our club room and got us all keys. So we didn't have to hang out with the annoying crowd at the Wall, or even worse, in front of Carvel. We had a place to listen to music, play games, and smash into each other. We even had a couple of girls who came regularly. It was heaven. College saw us go our separate ways. I'm a bond analyst. Steve Cohn's a musicians and artist agent in Asheville, North Carolina. Gil Witt is a doctor. Joey Hershkovich is a nutritional scientist. Jay Klusky is a professor of education in Portland. And Mark became a video engineer. Set up his own production company, as I'm sure you know. We'll always cherish Mark for his easygoing attitude, for the affable guy that he was, and for his part with what couldn't have been a better time in all of our lives. Thank you.
This is like a true testament to Mark's memory, having everybody here today. Just wanted to say a few words. There's quite a few people that I'd just like to thank. Initially, you know, when I contacted the Patchogue Chamber of Commerce about planting a tree in Mark's honor, they put me in touch with Paula from the Beautification Committee, and you know, she said what a wonderful idea it was. And then the next day, she called me back. She knew about Mark's involvement in the theater and in the village, and she says, well, how about dedicating a plaza to him? And which was just, you know, just kind of like, you know, blew me out of the water, and it just kind of like took off from there. And, you know, just a real quick little history of this area, okay, just to give you an idea of what was done here. You know, mainly, you know, with Paula's backing and keeping everybody moving forward. But basically, this planting area over here was all broken up cement, okay? And there were no hanging baskets here. We have planters over here. These benches that were just recently put in this past week, okay? Need to thank Chip from Mosaica in town here that did these benches. And you take a look later, what he did was, there are the dancing bear icons from the Grateful Dead music, which was Mark's favorite band, and it just ties in so nicely with the theater and the entertainment that goes here. So Paula, I mean, absolutely, you know, cannot thank you enough. I mean, there was, you know, so much to put together to make this happen. The village of the Chamber of Commerce, everybody involved there, Department of Public Works, the BID committee, just a lot of people. You know, it doesn't happen overnight, and we were getting a little worried, but it just all came together. And this is such an important area for Patchogue, because back here is the main parking area south of Montauk, and this is a transition area to the village of Patchogue. There's a lot of people, okay, that use this area. And now it's a plaza, it's a walkway, and you'll see later there are hanging baskets, you know, on the way into the village of Patchogue. and this is a true testimonial to Mark. I mean, Mark was involved with the renovation of the theater right from the beginning. He realized what he could do for the village, and has just done like incredible things. So he was there right at the beginning, and then he was directing and producing a show that was on various cable systems, Discover Patchogue, which was highlighting businesses and developments in Patchogue. And we actually filmed a lot of the shows right inside the Patchogue Theater. So, you know, when Paula came to me, you know, with this idea, it just was, you know, such a beautiful, you know, perfect idea. And it's really appropriate today that there's a dance recital going on right behind us, because this is, you know, what Mark, you know, truly, you know, loved to do. So I want to thank Mike, you know, from the other side of the Throgs Neck Bridge, you know, for all your support. You were there, you know, right from the beginning, you know, trying to make this happen. And then I got
Well, this is the funny thing. You start with, we want to plant a tree. The friends have sent some money, we want to plant a tree. So I love this tree, I find out the price of trees, and then I said, well, we have X amount of dollars. I said, that's trees. That's a lot of trees. And from knowing where we had that kind of contribution, it did enable us to think outside the box, which is trees on Main Street, and come up with this area. And so everybody is thrilled with it. It took a while, but good things take a while.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, thank you again. And of course, Marie, the go-to person, you know, making endless phone calls, emails, back and forth, just keeping things moving forward. You know, absolutely couldn't have been done, you know, without her. So, you know, real quickly, I just, you know, want to share, I mean, Mark was one of my closest friends for over 20 years, my business partner for 10. And I have to honestly say, as I'm sure all of us would agree, I've never come across a gentler, more caring person. With Mark, it wasn't about accumulating stuff. It was always about the people around him, taking care of them and making sure everything was okay with them. It was always about everybody else, never about Mark. I mean, Gail, in your email, you know, you mentioned that with the cable access program, Mark would wait online for hours when they were allocating slots for the cable access shows so that he would get a good time slot for the Discover Patchogue show. And as you said, Mark would never say no. It was, you know, never about him. It was always about everybody else and taking care of those around him. So, as bittersweet a moment as this is, I'm sure like all of us here just feel so grateful to have been graced, you know, with Mark's presence and, you know, what I learned from him. So, just real quickly, I just want to share something I came across the other day that I think kind of sums up, you know, what today is about and the reason why we're here.
Don't look behind you, please.
Yeah, I know.